Ecclesia Domestica, Ecclesia Domestica, Ecclesia Domestica.
Ecclesia Domestica.
Welcome to this episode of Ecclesia Domestica. In this episode, we are going to discuss about the very current issue of Hagia Sophia. We must have read from newspapers, or we may be informed from other media or social media about the conversion of Hagia Sophia Museum into mosque again. Let us study the history of Hagia Sophia first. The evolution of Hagia Sophia till 2020. Secondly, why Hagia Sophia? Because we know Turkey is a Muslim dominated country, or majority of the people are Muslims. Therefore, there are many mosques in Turkey. Or even the Turkish official media would say there are more than 200 churches, Christian churches are there in Turkey. Then why Hagia Sophia? We should find that answer too. The speciality of Hagia Sophia, the uniqueness of Hagia Sophia, the antiquity of Hagia Sophia, the architectural beauty of Hagia Sophia. Let us go through. The secular study has been conducted by BBC and other well-known world media about Hagia Sophia.
Situated on a hill overlooking the Sea of Marmara and the Bosphorus, Hagia Sophia has gone through various transformations since it was built in what is now Istanbul in 537, and it remains one of the most important monuments of the world. And now it will once again house prayers while remaining open for visitors. But let's first look at how the majestic structure came into being and how it functioned over time. Byzantine Emperor Constantius II commissioned the construction of the first Hagia Sophia in 360. It was built with a wooden roof and was soon burned to the ground in riots. Theodosius II built a second version as a grand marble structure in 415, which was razed to the ground for the second time during the Nika Revolt in 532. Some fragments of that building still remain today. The building that does remain today was built in 537 during the reign of Emperor Justinian I, whose desire was to build the largest church of his time. According to oral tradition, after its completion, he exclaimed, "Solomon, I have surpassed you," referring to the first temple built by King Solomon. Hagia Sophia then remained the world's largest church for nearly 1,000 years. The church was fortified and turned into a mosque after the Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II conquered Istanbul in 1453. The Sultan kept the name Hagia Sophia while he had the church repurposed as a mosque after covering mosaics along its walls with plasters. He also added Islamic features such as minarets and a mihrab, a niche in the wall where the Muslim imam would lead prayer in the direction of Mecca. It remained the principal mosque in Istanbul right up until 1616, when construction on the Sultan Ahmet Mosque, also known as the Blue Mosque, was finally completed. In 1931, the founder of the Byzantine Institute of America, Thomas Whitmore, traveled to Istanbul and obtained the permission of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the first president of the Republic of Turkey, to oversee the removal of plaster covering the Byzantine mosaics in Hagia Sophia and turn it from a mosque into a museum. The 1972 book, Hagia Sophia, A History of Constantinople, quotes Whitmore as saying, "Santa Sophia was a mosque the day I talked to him. The next morning, when I went to the mosque, there was a sign on the door written in Atatürk's own hand. It said the museum is closed for repairs." While some say these steps are what led to the conversion, some Turkish historians claim Atatürk considered turning Hagia Sophia into a museum as early as 1923, the year the Turkish Republic was founded. But it was in 1935 that Atatürk ordered the conversion along with the Turkish Assembly of Ministers. The majestic dome structure was named one of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites, and it has been Turkey's most popular tourist attraction ever since, seeing 3.8 million visitors in 2019. In recent years, there have been calls to return the eclectic structure back into a mosque to honor the Islamic history of the country and the legacy of Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II. A hearing on whether Hagia Sophia should remain a museum where no prayer is allowed was held on July 2nd. The court has now decided that prayers will be able to resume once more at the Hagia Sophia, paving the way for it to become a mosque once more, while visitors will still be able to visit the historical site.
Why I am concerned about Hagia Sophia? Why our Pope Francis mourns over Hagia Sophia's conversion or reconversion into mosque? Why the UN is worried about it? Why the world Christian society is lamenting or even making declaration saying that it is not a right act from the part of a government of a secular republic. Why it is so? Is it only because of religious ideology? Does it also have a political agenda or even specifically Muslim political agenda of overcoming or even conquering the land and the worship places of other religious people? We have to go through other news also concerning the political agenda behind the reconversion of Hagia Sophia into mosque.
Turkey's most famous tourist destination is caught in politics and international debate. Istanbul's Hagia Sophia could soon be turned into a mosque. The 6th century monument was once a church, even a mosque. Now it's a museum and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has other plans.
Turkey's famous Hagia Sophia is at the center of an international political debate.
It is not a Greek-Turkish issue, it is a global issue. Hagia Sophia is a World Cultural Heritage Monument.
The conversion of Hagia Sophia into a mosque will disappoint millions of Christians around the world.
Ataturk established Hagia Sophia as a museum to underline his vision of secularizing Turkey. And nearly 100 years later, I think Erdogan is trying to do the opposite.
President Erdogan wants to convert the museum into a mosque. Objections are pouring in from inside Turkey and outside. The outrage is not surprising. This structure is more than just brick, mortar and labor. The Hagia Sophia has served two religions over the last 2,500 years, Christianity and Islam. It is an architectural masterpiece, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and a political symbol. It was first a church, then a mosque, and now a museum. All of these conversions were mired in politics. And now Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan wants to use it for his political gains. Russia says the move will lead to changing and violating fragile interconfessional balances. But Erdogan is determined. Any opposition is being branded as an interference with Turkey's sovereignty.
Now they are saying, do not convert the Hagia Sophia into a mosque. Are you ruling Turkey or are we?
Erdogan's Justice and Development Party calls the Hagia Sophia a geographical property. Earlier this month, the party allowed an imam to recite Quranic surahs in the museum. It was the 567th anniversary of the conquest of Constantinople. The president wants to celebrate the Ottomans and their conquest of the Christian Constantinople. This is selective highlighting of history and appeasement politics. Erdogan is playing to the galleries.
Why should we get permission from them? Why should we be afraid of them? What belongs to us belongs to us.
We want this to be a mosque. This is the symbol of Istanbul.
The conversion will divide people and hit tourism revenue. But neither of these top Erdogan's priority list. His party has already changed Hagia Sophia's namesakes into mosques. The Hagia Sophia of Iznik was converted in 2011. The Hagia Sophia of Trabzon was converted in 2013. The structure in Istanbul is next. Erdogan laid his eyes on Hagia Sophia of Istanbul in 1994 when running for mayor. Now he wants to convert it. But as 2023 approaches, this structure is his lifeboat in sailing through the ongoing economic crisis.
You know they changed Hagia Sophia from mosque to a museum a while ago. God willing, after the election, we will change the Hagia Sophia's name from museum to mosque.
The matter is in a Turkish court. Even if he can't convert it into a mosque, he'll want to convert this controversy into votes. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
When we learn about the reconversion of Hagia Sophia, and in this modern world, one ruling party tries to convert a place of worship of a particular religion into another in the favor of the ruling party, then there is something wrong in that government in the modern times. We know conquering a land and converting the place of worship into their favor of the conqueror is part of the barbarian culture. It is also called like tribal culture. Are we living in that era? Or are we not civilized? Are we not educated? Are we not informed about all those things are happening around us? Are we illiterate to believe all these things even happening today? So then there is something seriously wrong. So that we need to unmask in this study of Hagia Sophia. So here we have to realize one thing, that there is a political or clear Muslim political agenda behind it, and President Erdogan is the backbone of it. So if we are interested to know about President Erdogan, then we will realize why all these things happened like this. Erdogan, before becoming president of Turkey, he also served as the prime minister of Turkey. And much before that, he was mayor of Istanbul. And for his ultra Muslim view, or even that way of hatred towards other religion, he was punished and imprisoned. It is in the year of 1994, as a candidate of Islamic Welfare Party, he was elected as the mayor of Istanbul in 1994. So later, he was stripped of his position, banned from political office, and imprisoned for 4 months for inciting religious hatred due to his recitation of a poem by Zia Gokal. Erdogan subsequently abandoned openly Islamic politics, establishing the moderate conservative AKP in 2001, which he went on to lead to a landslide victory in 2002. With Erdogan still technically prohibited from holding office, the AKP's co-founder Abdullah Gül instead became prime minister and later annulled Erdogan's political ban. After winning a by-election in Siirt in 2003, Erdogan replaced Gül as prime minister, with Gül instead becoming the AKP's candidate for the presidency. So here we will come to know why he was banned, why he was imprisoned, because of his hatred towards other religion or religious worldview. And he wanted to establish Islam rule, Islam domination in Turkey, which was a secular republic country. So Erdogan, the president, takes initiative, and we come to know that the Supreme Court of Turkey declares to convert Hagia Sophia Museum into mosque, making the decision of making mosque into museum was wrong. So this kind of attitude or this kind of political agenda, we have to be aware of it in any country, even in our country. So this is called fascism. So fascism in the name of a religion or even kind of race or language or any kind of criteria is not acceptable in the modern, educated and well civilized time or civilized world. So the political agenda behind it should be the main reason of converting or reconverting Hagia Sophia Museum into mosque again.
Ondan korkuyorum. Bir Haçlı Hilal Savaşı'na doğru bu Avusturya Başbakanı'nın attığı adımlar dünyayı buraya doğru götürüyor.
My research again took me to other relationship of Erdogan with Muslim countries. Erdogan is very closely associated with Pakistan, Malaysia and Palestine. In Pakistan, he has visited and even he has commented about the Kashmir issue recently. And he is keeping a very close relationship with China because he wants to have a good trade relation, good development plan, and also a kind of relationship for the progress and development of the infrastructure and other trade relationship. So he is very good with China. Though China does not give religious freedom, Erdogan has no problem with that. So this kind of double-minded attitude of this president will clearly show that there is a political agenda or political for the political future of his. And recently, I also read about another news in this week that Erdogan again declared that those Christian migrants who are staying in Turkey for a long time have to leave Turkey immediately. Or if they have gone for a vacation or some other program out of Turkey, they cannot come back.
In Pakistan, Recep Tayyip Erdogan is seen as something of a hero. Applause greeted the Turkish president as he entered Pakistan's parliament to address a joint session for the fourth time. The most by any foreign leader in Pakistan's 74-year history.
In Pakistan, we never see ourselves as strangers. In one of the most important centers of Asia, we feel at home in the Muslim world. The bonds between Turkey and Pakistan are shared by very few countries.
A recent Gallup poll put Erdogan as the most popular leader in the Muslim world, citing his ability to rally people around pressing issues like the Kashmir dispute.
Turkey will continue to call for justice, peace and dialogue on the Kashmir issue.
But for Pakistan, Erdogan's visit is more than just raising injustices. It is about building a relationship that would help develop the financially stricken country of 200 million people.
How do we see all these things? Now, I'm not making conclusion for this episode. This is up to you to take. I have presented some truths and facts brought out by well-known media in this world or trustworthy media like BBC. So now it is your turn to decide what I should conclude with this move of converting this Hagia Sophia museum into mosque now, and also why all are aiming at Hagia Sophia, which was a building constructed by Christians for the worship place of Christians as church, and it remained 1,000 years as a place of worship for Christians in the history. And after conquering by Ottoman Empire in 1453, he converted it into mosque because that was the law or practice or custom of that time, as I mentioned, a barbarian culture. Later, when Turkey got this kind of self government, so that at that time the president converted the converted mosque into a museum, so that a kind of neutral stand the government had taken, and that was appreciated by whole world leaders and also even UN. But now, again, after 86 years of being a museum, and all those visitors and all those travelers who visit Turkey, their main site of visit was this Hagia Sophia. I have also heard first time about Hagia Sophia in the travelogue in Malayalam by Santosh George Kulangara in his this travelogue called Sanjaram. At that time, I heard about the Hagia Sophia Museum, and I also heard about its history also. Yeah. So it was pride of Christianity for 1,000 years. And we also hear that even Byzantine emperors were taking oath, taking power, or installation ceremony was taking place in this cathedral. And it was an icon and pride of Byzantine Christianity or the Eastern Church of that place, mainly the Greek Church also. So now it is up to you to conclude. Was it only to please the public in Turkey, Erdogan in the museum into mosque? Or the Hagia Sophia, from its very beginning itself, it was a Christian way of depiction of architecture of its faith. Why Hagia Sophia? It's you to conclude. Thank you.